Welcome everybody to the Onward VR Master League. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. I will be your sole conductor in today's journey through the... Let's see if we can get my video to work here. It doesn't look like I can. Through the metaverse, alongside my co-caster Minsu. Minsu, how are you doing today? It is going to be a quality matchup.
Yeah, doing fine. Thanks for calling me here, NightFiree.
Of course. Happy to have you on the desk. I mean, we're looking at the best of the best duking it out here on the EU side. BossFight versus Fortis. We won't talk about the bans just yet, but I mean, what are you looking forward to here today?
Well, I am quite surprised that BossFight picked their first map as Shipyard here.
Yep. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
We'll talk more about that in a moment here, but I do think that, yeah, coming in here, I'm expecting a long-range fight. You know, if we look at the stats, Abandoned and Snow Peak are the worst 2 maps for Fortis, and BossFight play those maps pretty well. They're almost a team that does better at the medium to long range, although as the seasons have developed, they've gotten much better at the close quarters and the fast combat. So you know, coming in, I'm expecting a long-range map, and you know, let's just run through the bans here so we can get a better idea of what you can expect. Because coming in from BossFight, we have Arctic and Subway, so close quarters maps off the table. And coming in from Fortis, we have Downfall and Quarantine. And I mean, we were talking earlier here, Minsu. I was definitely thinking Snow Peak. I mean, what were you thinking we were headed to for map number 1 with BossFight?
Yeah, quite sure with you. Snow Peak or Abandoned.
Right. But to your point, it is not either one of those, and it is going to be Shipyard. You know, this one, an interesting... I wonder what the stats are saying here. I mean, let's look at Fortis's history on Shipyard, and I don't even see it played by them yet this season. So, I mean, we're talking week 14 right now, and they haven't played this map once. I think that's probably why BossFight picked into this map here today.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right on that one. BossFight should have an upper hand because, yeah, just like you said, Fortis have never even played this map.
I mean, we can expect Fortis to at the very least be practiced, right? I mean, you look at teams of this level at this rank, and you know they're scrimmaging on every map, right? They're scrimmaging, you know, sometimes daily and practicing, you know, to make sure that there aren't any weak points. At least that's what I assume most teams are doing in their downtime. I mean, I don't think we're going to get a complete one-way show here, but I do know that BossFight have been practicing strategies on Shipyard. I mean, I've seen a lot. I think the last time we watched BossFight, we were seeing all kinds of new strats come out on this map. So it was either them or it was a mid-tier team. But there's new strats that are being developed on Shipyard. I mean, what's your experience playing on this map, man? So have you put a lot of time into Shipyard yet, or not really?
Yeah, I've also played this map. Yeah, I could definitely say I am not a big fan of this map.
Yeah, not a big fan, but played it plenty, and we'll see what we get out of Fortis here this afternoon. We do have both teams in lobby ready to go. They're probably not waiting on us, but coming in from BossFight, we do have Radar Head, Nardu, Scooby-Doo, Leggle, and Little Sayonara. And from Fortis, we have Special Ops, Glue Sniffer, Arub, Typic, and Electric. I don't recognize Arub there. Maybe it's just a misname coming in. Wonder who that would be. Spec Ops. Oh no, A-Rob. A-Rob's there. Weird. Not a name I'm familiar with, though, on the... Well, I guess Fortis isn't a team I'm necessarily too familiar with either. I've only cast them once this whole season. Or no, twice. No, it's BossFight. Yeah, I've only cast Fortis once this whole season, so... Anyway, enough stalling here. Minsu, ready to get into the action. Round 1 is kicking off, and we are going to dive right into Shipyard. Our first objective, one that I think is pretty easy to cap.
Oh,
You ready to call that one?
yeah, I do believe you're right on this one.
Easy to deploy some smokes out there. BossFight going to be rolling out. And not paying really any attention to the roof. Sometimes you'll see offenses really play this a little bit more cautiously, and they'll invest in a defender up on the rooftop here, but no one is there. Instead, we have M203 smokes coming, and the stairs being utilized heavily by BossFight, and they're utilized for positions like Scooby-Doo, so they can minimize their exposure over the top and peek out to the rooftops. And they've gotten full control. An interesting defense by Fortis. There's really no one around the objective.
Yeah, I believe you're right on that one, but yeah, if there's any smokes around it, I'm pretty sure Typic or Electric will be back to the objective in no time.
Yeah, and you also have Special Ops here with a line down in to the objective. And yeah, to your point, they can rotate relatively quickly, but if they don't have control of that street, then things could go wrong for them quickly, because you do have attackers like Scooby-Doo on that roof that can easily prevent any rotations, and he crosses out Radar Head trying to suppress Glue Sniffer as they cross around on that top floor, and in every angle that's being held here is very calculated. Radar is minimizing exposure so that they don't get tagged by Electric. They haven't pushed up too far forward so that their head's not peeking over the edge. Typic doesn't have an angle. It is all very thought out, you know, and that's what you get out of teams at this level. They don't really push out without thinking. Radar Head finds the first kill, and they're starting to lose control of the ship.
Oh, there comes our second kill. Rob catches legal, but oh, and there comes our third kill.
Radar Head scooping up Special Ops on the back there. It does open up the ship completely, and as we were talking about, the rotations now are forced. Scooby is able to shut down those rotations. They're able to shoot down over the top as Typic's now completely in the open, crashing back to the objective. Scooby doesn't quite spot it out. Shots come in from Radar, and those do connect. And now Electric is alone on the objective. They've managed to get back, but BossFight have 3 alive, and little Sayonara is hearing Electric's footsteps underneath the ramp. And it actually seems like Sayonara was maybe thinking they're on the other side of the wall. They now identified them underneath the ramp. And finally, Radar connects there underneath the ramp. BossFight with 3 alive take the first round. And a pretty solid push from them out the gate.
Indeed it was. And BossFight head out with one point on the lead on their first map, Shipyard.
Yeah, it was a interesting defense from Fortis. There, oftentimes on this objective, you do see a little bit more prioritization in securing the rooftop. You know, you can push pretty early up these stairs and challenge out the gate as defense, the offensive spawn. It's dangerous, but if you get control of the roof, you have a much better chance of preventing what we just saw happen there. BossFight get control of the rooftop, and then they're able to prevent any real effective crossings to get back to the objective. They gain control of the ship, and they crash in. It was a very nice overall advance from BossFight. Calculated, timed properly, and not done too slow. And like I said, you know, if we look at, I think one of my favorite new things that's happening is the interviews that are going on the website. If you go to vrml.com/onward, you can find all sorts of interviews being conducted by, who is it? I know I had it on Sam's Cosplay. They just recently interviewed BossFight, and so do go check out that interview. There's a bunch of other ones on there too, you know, and so you don't want to miss those. They are really well done, well crafted, and you know, you can get a little insight onto your favorite team. We're gonna get an insight into how Fortis attack as BossFight defend. We swap sides and we go into round 2.
Well, there comes our first kill. It's actually a trade between 2 players. And it connects. Nardu catches Glue Sniffer.
Ooh, and a nice rotation from Special Ops. They utilize a nice flash over the top to catch that kill. And Fortis fighting right back with BossFight here. 3-3 to open up this round. The first minute now just being done. And BossFight definitely throwing the sort of defense that I was talking about here at Fortis. The more aggressive style of defense where you go to the offense here on the roof. Radar Head is still sitting on the backside, but they've got the LMG. And so they're able to fully suppress that rooftop down. That's the power of that LMG. Sayonara tucked into the cargo crates, shuts down Special Ops. Fortis are down to 2, and they're both on the roof. They got to really kind of get rid of Radar Head, but Radar's completely rotated off, so they're going to be stuck looking to get rid of Radar Head and never really find them.
My spot.
Good comms coming in here from both sides. Lego calling out Typic. Radar Head dialed in now. Typic also calling out Lego, and so it is a battle of comms, a battle of information. Electric's going to win that battle by finding Lego down. Is Radar Head going to rotate back in time? No, they do not. Typic gets inside, but they catch that rotation out. A big shutdown from Radar Head. It leaves Fortis with just Electric alive to try and win this round in the 1v2. A lot of time left on the clock.
Oh! Little Sayonara catches Electric, and I guess BossFight takes their second round just like that.
Where was that angle? I don't know how they caught Electric prone behind. Maybe it was... I was thinking like a foot underneath, but I don't know. That wasn't the angle. I don't know how that kill came through, but, you know, sometimes we don't see what, what the players are seeing. Either way, like you said, a nice 2-0 lead here to open things up for them. Their map pick, no less, and going pretty quickly, too. You look at the KDs. Fortis are finding a couple of kills. You know, they are getting on the board, but Radar Head in particular has come to play today. 5-0 in these first 2 rounds. Very nicely done. Sayonara 2-0. So both to have 2 deathless. Yeah, it's pretty solid opening. Those guys got to be feeling pretty good too. Momentum is a lot in a game like Onward. And so we'll see if they can carry that momentum into our next objective, which is going to be similarly positioned, but over on the ship here. And this is where I really expect to see the aggressive defenses.
Well, we'll have to see how they spread out. Will Fortis go to the FM style close core defense, or they might take an aggressive defense? Oh, I do think they're pushing forward on this one, trying to take control of the ship.
Spec Ops here in a bit of an off-meta position. I haven't seen anyone take up this angle here. Nardu is going to open things up by shutting down Typic, trying to advance and get that forward control, and a beautiful refrag over the top from Glue Sniffer catches things right back into a 4-4. BossFight being kept honest this time around. There's no easy rounds coming in here.
Mate, I don't fucking know.
I do believe you're right on this one. Still, yeah, Fortis is keeping dominance above the ship here.
Again, though, a lack of prioritization on securing the overall roof. Scooby and Radar have control. Radar is going to be able to get up onto the highest floor, and when you're on this top floor, you really have some pretty good angles down into the defense. And so if Glue tries to cross and isn't aware, they could get picked off by Radar. There the shots come in, but don't connect. Radar can also peek down into A-Rob. They can peek down onto Spec Ops and Electric. It's a very dangerous spot to have an attacker, and so it's got to be a concerning point here for this Fortis defense, especially now as Radar looks at an opportunity to catch Electric out. There goes A-Rob. Like I said, they have the angle.
Yep, they got the angle. Yeah, this rooftop is showing its importance. It's definitely showing its importance on tonight's match here.
Electric is still prone, waiting for Radar to advance out. It's a very tucked in position, and I don't think it's one I've seen taken by many players. If anything, it gives them cover from Radar Head on this rooftop position, because if they do peek down, they're not even going to see Electric behind the stairs. They've got a nice line underneath the stair, which is a hard pick to find if you're going to cross. It's a very good angle. Like I said, Shipyard, as soon as it entered the map rotation, we started to see teams develop strats and learn more about it, and really try and figure out what the best little angles and routes are. And I like the one that Electric has found there. We'll see if it pays off, because BossFight again still have a pretty solid advantage, I would say. Full roof control, Scooby here, Sayonara and Lego rotating to hit the objective from the back where there is very little defense. That's the proper move to make from BossFight. This Lego rotation, if they do come in and approach the objective from the east, it is going to give them their best opportunity to honestly a cap. They could sneak right through these three defenders left for Fortis. They could take map 1 4-0 off of a cap right here.
Yeah, you're quite sure. Oh!
Yeah, there's Electric.
3 or Echo 2, I've just killed the second guy at the bottom of the warehouse.
The only challenge of using new spots is that BossFight are pretty smart. They play the game quite a bit, they understand the meta, and they are oftentimes aware of the strats before they are deployed by other teams. So, you really got to try your hardest when you're going up against a squad like BossFight who's been around for so long. Smokes, flashes, utility, all coming into the objective now as C4 also gets detonated. Radar tries to fake a down as Spec Ops flashes up over the top, and it's a beautiful flash that catches Radar out. A nice little pick, but now Scooby and Lego are on the back of objective. A swing out there from Glue Sniffer. They get shut down by Little Sayonara over the top, and Scooby is pushing objective. Special Ops is here, crashing back, tablets out. Spec Ops swings, and the catch. Scooby-Doo trying to cap as Sayonara rotates off of the roof. There's no more coverage, and we're into a 1v1. Spec Ops has saved the day, and Fortis are fighting for round 3.
Not for long. I believe, yep, Little Sayonara had an angle, did not connect. But I'm pretty sure now Little Sayonara has an idea of where Special Ops is.
This is an interesting rotation, one that could definitely pay off. They're getting pretty far away from the objective, which is very dangerous to do at this stage in the game, and they're not looking at the crossing. They're getting utility. While this is happening, Sayonara does make it across. Spec Ops has to crash back. Is Sayonara going to cap? They have the time to do it. The tablet's not out, and they're waiting for Spec Ops to push. The nade comes around the corner, and it's a flash, and Spec Ops catches them. The utility plays to save the day, and Spec Ops goes to the floor to rest after they take that round and go up 3-0. Excuse me, 2-1.
Yep, that's 2-1 out, right? Fortis does have a chance of getting back.
They really do. They can get right back into this one with a solid offensive round now, but not going to be easy. That was by the, really, Spec Ops to save the day there. Radar had 7-1, continuing to find kills, but finally does go down in that push attempt. And, to BossFight's credit, they were invested more in the cap than the kill at that stage, and it was the right play to make. Invest all 4 of your remaining players into pushing that objective and capturing it, because that would have been a 4-0 map start, and you can't really get better momentum than that. So I don't blame them for going for it, but it might let Fortis back in, to your point. So we'll have to see how Fortis approach their attack here for this objective because we are going to stick into that ship and we're going to swap sides as we do in the game of Onward. Suppose while we're here, a quick shout out to everyone that is hanging out in chat. I see Miro rooting for Fortis, Crypto rooting for Minsu, 24 Gray chatting it up in here, Seaquick, K Fever, Magnet, Lonely Viper, familiar face. Happy to see everyone tuning in and enjoying the action here this afternoon as we get back to it for round number 4, map 1. Fortis trying to bounce back, and this is going to be probably the biggest round for them in this series, because if they can get this, it's even Stevens and we're going to a fresh objective. It really is a full reset for them.
That's just all part of the show.
Okay. Oh, BossFight is taking a different. BossFight is going for a different style of defense here. And Scooby-Doo catches Electric. Oh, Typic
Killer
catches Scooby-Doo back.
I got him.
Lego is still pushed up pretty far forward here, though. He could utilize the utility piece of Flash around the corner to catch A-Rob and Typic, but I don't think Lego is going to push out that hard. Instead, they're tucked into the cargo crate, still relatively forward. They may catch Typic rotating here into the corner. And it goes both ways. A trade down in the corner and a firefight happening on the other side as Nardu tries to fend off the push onto the ship. Special Ops and Glue deploying utility as Typic scoops up A-Rob off the trade. Fortis have the advantage 4-3.
Holy fuck.
Oh, fight's going out. Glistening for catches Nardu.
Kilo frick, I think.
That makes
B3.
2 remaining defenders for BossFight.
One south.
Yeah, and it's not a strong lineup here. Radar does at least have objective coverage, but Little Sayonara has to crash back to the objective, and in the process, they catch Special Ops out. So it's 2v3 now as they chip away at the Fortis offense. Radar Head finds another. Shots come into them. They don't go down, but they do tuck in, and Glue finds Radar trying to tuck in. Back and forth, and Fortis have the advantage. Sayonara is alone in a 1v2.
Yeah, I think Sayonara heard the footsteps of Rob. Well, Sayonara catches Rob as he turns around the corner, but I do believe Blue Sniffer still is holding that angle towards where Little Sayonara last was seen. Oh.
A great rotation from Sayonara to swing out the long lane. Perfectly timed, catches the kill. BossFight hold on to the round, and things get dangerous for the Fortis now as we go into map point. 3-1 here for BossFight. They go on the attack, and we do change objectives to the opposite side of the map. But we've seen some new strats start to be developed here for this objective. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them deployed by BossFight this afternoon. Stuff like riding the rail of the ship and then jumping behind your opponent. There's been some new innovative strats that I managed to catch on stream, I think, just a few days ago. But yeah, I do wonder if they'll be deploying that, or maybe it's going to be something they're going to hold on until we get into that postseason, because frankly, we're not that far away from the finals, from end of season gameplay, you know.
I believe you are correct on that one. Well, since the points are 3-1, Fortis should defend this OBJ no matter what cost. No, wait. That might be a little sorry. That might be a little overrated.
Yeah, it's tough because if you play this defense too cautiously, you can put yourself into some bad positions later into the round. And a team like BossFight is very good at collapsing onto an objective as a team. And so if you allow them to do that, it can be worse than playing it a little bit aggressively and trying to catch them out before they can set up for their attack. We'll have to see what Fortis end up siding with, because to your point, it is their last effort at trying to hang into this. They're going to have to pick up 3 rounds in a row to take the game, and well, it certainly starts off nicely with Spec Ops flying forward, picking up the first kill onto Scooby, who is trying to set up for the flank and rotate in from the south. The rest of BossFight is all prioritizing taking control of the ship and eventually taking control of the roof. The roof has been the key for this BossFight team, and they definitely have been prioritize securing that over Fortis. Fortis, you can deploy a rooftop defender here because you are able to get out aggressively enough, but they don't decide to prioritize that, and you do have people like Radar Head who are watching for that potential rotation from this high level position. So no real easy angles. A long range fight does erupt with Electric trying to catch Radar Head off in the distance, but nothing comes of it, and Fortis hold on to their 4v5 lead. It is an interesting defense, I will give them that. Special Ops is way the heck up here and almost in the middle of this offense that's pushing past them now at this point.
I believe you are right on that one. Oh, gunshots being fired. Electric catches little Sayonara.
B to 3, we lost a little Cy on high.
But now I'm pretty sure BossFight is certain that someone is on the rooftop. Yep, Rarehead is looking that way, and Rarehead
Got the refrag on the roof on the back.
gets
what
that
if you're
kill on Electric.
9 and 2 on the map so far. Radar finding a lot of kills. An M203 smoke going in from Legel, although I'm not sure where that ended up going or how that got shot, considering they don't have an M203, but I heard it. Maybe it was just maybe it was coming from Nardu, maybe? I don't know. Either way, smokes are out, Legel's rotating around. Spec Ops still almost behind the offense now. And BossFight get ever closer to the objective. Radar not going to be able to find... I mean, these are good defensive positions by Fortis. They've got a nice setup here.
C4 going out. Oh, and I guess this is where Legal shot his M203 smoke. Radar catches a Rob. It's now 3-on-3.
maximum echo.
Yeah, Rob tried to peek out from that back corner a little bit too much. Opened up the opportunity for Radar to find him. Spec Ops still waiting. No rotation from them yet. BossFight continue to move forward. Typic and Glue, the only 2 on objective. And I don't think anyone's ID'd Typic yet, but they're getting pretty close to running into Typic here soon enough. Either Nardu or Radar are going to find that pick, and Nardu could dump utility over the top to catch Typic. Also do have Legel, who has eyes right onto that corner, but Typic is really staying tucked in to that corner. They're minimizing their exposure, and they're covering the one angle they want to cover. As I say that, oh, they peek out, and that might have been it. There it is. Legel finds them.
Got one on the right side.
Yeah, it's now 2-on-3, and BossFight is moving in. I do believe BossFight has pinpointed Glue Sniffer there.
There's the kill. They got an objective completely. Legel's going to pull the tablet out. Special Ops too far away and didn't rotate in time to catch the back of this offense crashing in. BossFight take map 1 5-1. And, you know, at the end of the day, the rounds determine how much you go up or down in rank. And so for them to secure an extra point on the end of the round is pretty nice for them. Keeps their lead at 4 points, and that's a pretty dominant shipyard performance by BossFight. But let's look at the KDs. Okay, I say it's a dominant performance by BossFight. It's more so a dominant performance by Radar Head on BossFight's team, 11 and 2. The rest of his team finding a couple of kills. Sayonara next up with 6, but from there 2, 3, 1. Fortis had a little bit more of a spread, 5, 4, 3, and 2s across the board. And so they were finding kills. I think map 2 still could be pretty fun. It could be pretty solid. It's going to ideally be a map that Fortis actually have played this season, unlike Shipyard here today. And I think we'll see a much better performance from them. So just a matter of time on seeing what map they choose for map 2 here. But so far, a pretty good series and basically what I would expect out of BossFight playing here this afternoon. They are certainly putting on a good performance.
I couldn't agree more here.
Taking a look at chat, and I do see a few folks rooting for Fortis, but not able to get enough energy to the Fortis team. Do appreciate you in here, though, and we do appreciate you cheering for them. I'm sure when they come back and watch the VOD, they also will appreciate the support. Where do you think we're going for map 2, though, here? I mean, is it going to be, you know, a close quarters map? It seems like that's what they have wanted. If you look at their match history, I mean, Cargo is definitely on the table. I think maybe that's where we're headed for map 2.
Yeah, Cargo surely does look tempting to Fortis. 5 times played, 3 times won. Well,
Yeah. Pretty good. I would say Arctic, but that's been banned. Arctic and Subway both off the table. Those are definitely their best maps. Maybe Quarantine or Bazaar. Those are certainly options, but they're not easy options against a team like BossFight. You know, any map you pick, I guess, really is going to be tough. Looks like we are going to Cargo for map number 2. And even this map pick, while it is Fortis' more comfortable space, I mean, BossFight can play Cargo pretty well too. You know, it's not gonna, like I said, not gonna be easy. I suppose at any stage going up against a team like BossFight. I say they can play Cargo well, and maybe I'm wrong. They haven't played it once all season. Is that what I'm seeing on their stats? I think that's right. They've played 11 games this season. They haven't played it once all season. I guess we're seeing a bit of a reversal on map picks here in terms of experience and comfortability. We'll have to see what this means for BossFight, but that's impressive to not have ever played Cargo for 14 weeks.
that sure is interesting. Maybe the other opposing teams banned it, or BossFight banned it themselves.
Yeah, I think if I try and remember what BossFight prefer, I think that Arctic ban is maybe more often times subbed for the Cargo ban. Subway, too, they don't often ban. Actually, now I think about it, I don't really know what BossFight like to ban, but regardless, yeah, it is a good map pick by Fortis here. I mean, the stars really aligning for them. Their second most played map that's on the table, and one that BossFight haven't played at all. It's exactly where they need to be going here for this second map, and we really could see a reversal. I mean, just the other day, on the NA side of things, we did see a 4-1 and then a 1-4. You know, both teams taking their respective maps pretty dominantly, and then that final map to determine the series. So we could be in store for that, but BossFight will choose that final map, and if I were a betting man, it's going to be Abandoned or Snow Peak for that for us to finish things off on. Looks like we are waiting on a fifth connect in from the BossFight side of things. And once we have that in, we'll be going. I do wonder maybe if they're dipping into their full roster, and we'll be bringing in a player that excels on Cargo or prefers it. But for now, we wait. It doesn't look like there are any subs on Fortis' side. Spec Ops, Typic, Blue Sniffer, Electric, and A-Rob all consisting of Fortis. So far for boss fight, we have Sayonara, Nardu, Scooby-Doo, and Legal, and I suppose they're missing their standout shooter, Radar Head. I imagine they'd want to bring Radar back in for cargo, and I know Radar can play cargo. It's not like they're unable to square up on here, and there they are. Connected in for the 5th, and we should be jumping in to round 1 shortly. Pretty good series to tune into here this afternoon. I mean, at least pretty good performance so far from BossFight. I mean, 5-1 with a cap. There's a lot of momentum on their side right now, Mitsu.
Yeah, I do. I really find you're correct on that one. Well, but you know, this is Onward. You gotta play. You gotta play through all 3 maps.
Yep. Yeah. We'll have to see. And ooh, maybe they are gonna swap someone out. I'm not sure. Maybe they're having technical issues as well. We are playing on the most recent update. If you recall, I think it was just earlier this week on Wednesday, the team had to forfeit. We weren't able to cast the match because they were having technical issues jumping into lobby and getting the download ready in time. There certainly could be some tech issues that we're struggling with here, or it could be, like I suggested, roster swaps happening, but I'm now unsure as we continue to wait for a 5th to connect in for boss fight. I do also see we have some new faces to Onward. Ryan OS Wavy. Ryan So Wavy, I suppose, is probably what you're going for. Jumping into Onward just recently. This is a good one. Welcome in. A popular game that's been around for 6 years. Maybe, at this point, one of the longest standing VR multiplayer games out there. I say that knowing that Echo Arena has been around for quite a while as well. I don't actually think it was... Well, it might have been on the Rift CV1 before Onward, but regardless, Echo will be going away the middle of this year, so I think Onward actually might take the title of longest standing multiplayer game, because I believe Pavlov came out after Onward, technically. So yeah, it literally might be one of the oldest VR games that's still around, and it has one of the, I would say, most thriving multiplayer communities. Tons of people playing the game actively. We have tons of teams playing in every regular season, and if you do want to get involved in a team, it's pretty easy. You can go to VRML.com, join the Discord by heading over to the Discord link. From there, you can find teams that are recruiting. You can register for the reservist pool. So in the case that boss fight couldn't fill their 5th slot, which they have just done, they would dip into the reservist pool and grab someone that is available. And then you can also obviously create your own team. If you do find some friends and want to join in, you'll be matched up against other teams of similar rank and experience, and you can have a good time playing Onward competitively. That's what VRML is all about. I've stalled long enough, Mitsu. Back into the action we go. Round 1 of map 2 kicking off.
Yep. Here we go.
Pretty aggressive defensive rotation here as little Sayonara pushes into the most forward building, trying to anticipate movements from A-Rob and Electric and staying quiet, not radioing in any information to their team. On the other side of things, Fortis seemed pretty cautious of a potential push from this doorway, almost anticipating little Sayonara getting aggressive here. Maybe A-Rob heard footsteps, but they did or didn't. Something. A-Rob ran out of ammo on that swing, I think. Tried to go for the transfer on the double kill and didn't find it, and then get picked up by Electric. And now, oh no, they didn't see the smoke. They shot through the smoke. We couldn't see the smoke in the first-person perspective. We do apologize for that bug. They shot through smoke and didn't hit electric, and then electric killed them through smoke. So pretty nice job of guesswork, I suppose. Either way, Fortis do get cut down to 3. Electric and Leggle trade on the edge. BossFight down to 3. Fortis left with 2 on the backside. Typic and Glue both left to push into this objective, and I mean, I guess their biggest threat's going to be Radar Head, who's waiting for this to happen.
Well, I believe Nardu also had that angle on Typic, but since there's a smoke here shot by Glue Sniffer, I'm not pretty sure Nardu still has that angle on here.
Yeah, it looks like they've tucked back and are waiting a different position to push. But like I said, I don't think they've identified Radar in the corner here, who swings wide to catch Typic right away. Glue now aware that Radar is here, and they're now waiting for Radar to continue this push. Radar has tucked back in to their defensive position, and I wonder what Glue's solution is going to be here, because Radar's got this cross locked down.
I'm not sure Glue is aware that Radar is, hiding behind that box, and Radar catches Glue.
Stressful.
BossFight taking their first round on map 2 Cargo.
Could hear a sigh of relief from Radar Head, identifying that round as stressful, but it was a pretty successful defensive hold. 3 alive, and BossFight go up 1-0 on their opponent's map pick. 6-1 so far in the series, and we have a disconnect from Fortis. Maybe a quick technical reset, maybe a sub being brought in. We will have to wait and see, but I don't know. Nothing really out of the... that was pretty standard defense, I think, from BossFight. You know, you oftentimes players invest at least 1 into pushing these early buildings and defending in them. Radar's position is pretty standard if you want to hold and defend that cross. Oftentimes the counter is, like we saw, flashbangs or smokes that deny vision from that corner. You really got to dump out a nice wall of smoke to be able to push the objective without anybody seeing you. So I wonder if BossFight are going to try and get that smoke wall up here, or if we'll see a similar successful defense from Fortis. Either way, a good opening for them, and now Fortis have to put up a solid defensive round of their own. This objective may be one of the hardest objectives to defend on Cargo, Minsu. I don't know what you think about it, but definitely not easy to defend this OBJ right here.
Yeah, I'd agree. You know, this particular OBJ is called Diamond of Death by our Japanese friends. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that name didn't came along by incidents or something.
I've heard that as well. I've called it that, and it certainly is what this objective has been dubbed. Although now that I look at it, I do think it's maybe even more of like a pentagon. You know what I mean? If you get the top-down angle. Yeah, it is a diamond, sure. You know, but I mean, maybe more close to a circle than anything with the ways that the doors are positioned. But yeah,
Yeah, now we said it. Yeah, it does look like a pentagon as well.
Pentagon of Death. You get into some demonic stuff there, though, and that's not what we're looking for here.
Yeah.
Good, clean family fun delivered to you on this broadcast as we get into round number 2. That was not. I can't speak for the players. They're not clean. It's not family friendly. Okay, warning coming at you right now. So back into it we go, though. Round 2, and BossFight are on the attack, and they're deploying some early smokes to counter early aggression. They've got one smoke in this doorway to deny really a successful entry through that doorway. They've got smokes over towards special ops. They're playing this one very slow and not pushing. Very interesting offense here, almost banking on Fortis trying to get aggressive with them, and man, BossFight are really just holding out of spawn. A calculated play here, and something to take note. If you are a new team or a team developing strategies, there are multiple ways to push an objective, and this is how BossFight are going to approach this. Notice everyone's angles. There's no redundancies. Scooby's watching Radar's back. Radar's watching Nardu's back. Nardu is watching the most forward position. Legal is watching Nardu's back. Everyone has angles covered, and there's no real gap for Fortis to push out and get aggressive. If they do, they run into a line of sight, and that's the whole idea behind this defense, to really gain control of their space and then push at a time that Fortis aren't ready for. Push at 4 minutes, at 3:32, at 3:47, you know, an off time, something that's not within the first 30 seconds of the round, and try and execute on that kind of play. Radar Head is pushing forward here, and I think they've made it right up to glue.
Yep, I'm not sure Radar was aware that TP was actually waiting inside the tunnel from the very beginning of this round.
Oh man, that's going to be a big double. A kill over the top for Glue and a trade, and BossFight get picked apart on their attempted entry. Scooby's made it past Special Ops though, and as Typic picks up Legal, they do have a gap in coverage. For how long that lasts is the question, as a flash is deployed, and Typic spots out Scooby trying to creep through. 5 alive on Fortis, and what a solid hold from Fortis. They absolutely countered BossFight's attempt at pushing in late.
All the scores are back to 1-1 for. Oh, and check this out. Typic getting a hands-on kills and deaths. 4-0. What's Typic the one?
On the round they lost. Yeah. Sometimes deaths don't get calculated correctly, and so I imagine they got downed at the end of the round, and then they didn't get fully killed, and so it didn't count the death when BossFight won their first round. But either way, 4-1 I think would probably be the accurate calculation there.
Still, yeah.
Still a very solid hold there, and like you said, Typic, the key element in that defense that round, the double to open things up, being able to play out aggressive and confirm kills, we're just overall, and then catching ultimately the final kill. A very nice job there. And we now go to a new objective, one that I think is maybe as equally hard, well, not equally hard, but pretty hard to defend. It's the opposite side of the map, in a similar position, kind of in the middle of the north side. We'll see how Fortis approach this one as we get into round 3. Smokes coming in heavily so far to open things up. BossFight maybe even trying to throw some counter aggression as flashes come over the top. Nardu, I think, gets caught out, but they are able to tuck into position before A-Rob advances. Spec Ops finds a kill through smoke. Nardu pushes out and catches one before they can get picked off by Electric, who's watching over the top. Shots come in from Spec Ops. That does catch Nardu out, and they are flying at this objective. Glue catches another kill. Radar is alone in defending this, and they don't see Special Ops with the tablet out through the smoke, capping on the objective. They go up 3-1.
Yeah, was a pretty bold move for Fortis. Was it bold? I'm not quite sure. But the result that came out from it was quite good enough. A cap, which instantly brought the scores to 3-1. Fortis now taking the lead. Definitely, that's... Yeah.
a big round for Fortis right there, and just a rare lack of communication from BossFight. You know, Radar unaware of maybe how many had been dropped on the defensive end. Wasn't also just a rare, you know, it wasn't dumping LMG smoke, LMG fire through the smoke, but maybe it's because they didn't want to give away their position, because they were unsure of where everyone was, because they didn't have communication. You know, communication in this game goes underrated in the early with early teams, but the top teams use it a lot. It is vital in terms of you understanding where the enemy is, where your team is. And
Yeah.
I think there was just a lack of it there, because the push came in so fast. I mean, 40 seconds, you know, and that was it for round 3.
Yeah, look at the timer. 5 minutes and 18 seconds remaining. Well, so yeah, 40 seconds was quite short, even considering that this map is cargo.
It's fast. You're pushing in, you know, like we saw. What that means is smokes out the spawn, you know, and that's exactly what they did. And they deployed some good ones. M203 smokes to deny vision in key positions, and the confidence to push in for that objective. A very nice job by Fortis. They're back in to the entire series right now. They were down 5-1 on Shipyard. They were tied on their own map pick, but now they have an opportunity to win it 4-1 and take us into a map 3 decider.
Scooby-Doo catching special ops.
Yeah, Scooby waiting for that, honestly. A pretty standard aggressive defensive position to take. Blue here getting aggressive as well as they push in through the smoke. They don't catch Leggle or Scooby down, though. And what could have been a nice aggressive swing ends up in them going down. Typic at least catches Radar head. And Nardu, a beautiful double kill here to put them into a 3-3.
Yep, that kill just brought the remaining survivors to 3-3. Yeah, but Little Sayonara catches Typic. A Rob catches Scooby-Doo. Legal catches a Rob. Which means Electric is the last remaining defender for Fortis.
And they are getting pinched. Sayonara's on one side. The flashes here. The blind fire over the top isn't good enough. And beautiful utility usage by Sayonara secures BossFight their Marsoc round. They're not out of this thing yet, and that's the one thing you got to keep in mind whenever you go up against BossFight. They are never out of things early. They are always fighting for rounds, especially if they are down in a series. And so, you know, I think maybe Fortis getting a little too confident in their 3-1 lead there and getting a little too aggressive. You know, they didn't necessarily need to have Typic pushing up like that. He did find a couple of kills, but ultimately it resulted in 2 deaths on the defensive end, which opens up the entry point, and we see Fortis losing that defensive round. Now we go to a new objective that I think is pretty hard to win on the Marsoc side. Granted, I did see it happen just the other day, but this is not an easy OBJ to win on the attacking end, just because there's kind of a decent amount of variety, a lot of nooks and crannies that the defense can tuck into, and it does require very good utility usage. So we'll have to see if Fortis have it in them, or if BossFight are going to get right back into this, tie this thing up 3-3. We're going into round 5.
Yep, either way, this round is going to be an exciting one. Oh boy. Well, by the looks of it, Nardu is currently holding position at the end of the tunnel, or should I say at the starting point of the tunnel. Smoke's coming in pretty heavy from Fortis.
I don't know how that nade didn't catch special ops there, but it doesn't. And for now, everyone on Fortis is alive. They're still playing this pretty fast, though. And the nade does get around to catch Scooby, who was holding C4 in their hand that kills them. when the grenade explodes it.
Oh, yeah, I believe that must have hurt a lot.
Yeah, no chance of coming back from that one. As an M203 smoke comes out onto objective, Fortis have a nice setup for this push onto the objective. There's LMG fire that's coming out from both Legal and Radar, which is nice, but it is giving away their position. Oh, and the blind fire through the smoke catches Spec Ops. That's why you shoot through smokes. Fortis are down to 3. BossFight with 4. Sayonara prone. They've got angles over the top for Nardu to catch out the kills. And now there's only 2 left. 2v3, though, as Fortis continue to... and we had a lobby crash.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Jesus.
Well, now we have to go through the rigmarole of creating a new lobby, finding the same objective, and starting from there. At least I think that's how we're going to handle it.
Yeah.
I think that means that we'll go to a brief intermission, which means you're not going to want to go anywhere, because when we come back, it's going to be the start of round 5 in map 2. Fortis on the cusp of taking this one and taking us to a map 3 decider. It's a solid series for the EU side here this afternoon. Don't go anywhere. More Onward in just a few. One. Welcome back, everybody. Perfectly timed, as always. We are here for round 5 on map 2. If you're just tuning in, you've missed a good series so far, and I say good by BossFight standards because they won map 1 5-1. Map 2, 3-2 so far, and Fortis fighting for a chance to take us to a map 3 decider. We'll have to see what we get because there's already been a cap, nades, C4, lots of utility, all of that on display here. The series and this round, as we see a lot of that utility coming out to little success.
Yeah, Scooby surely isn't taking any more chances now, since he was actually caught in his own C4's explosion.
Yeah, you're right. He got that out earlier this time around. They also have a very, very tight angle on the slice here that Rob is going to peek, and shots come in from Scooby that nearly connect. Oh, they do actually. Rob has to heal. In the meantime, Blue is pushing forward and challenges Nardu to a fight that they cannot win. A nice kill there. Nardu doesn't see Spec Ops pushing out here to find the nade. The smoke is out and denying the vision from Nardu, so Spec Ops does get Scooby down. Radar is coming around for the res, but there's flashes and utilities. Nardu shuts down Electric on the other side, and Typic is proning their way down the tunnel. So we're into a 3v4 with one Resable in the corner that Radar Head tries to get, but it costs them their life. Perfect timing by Rob, and we're into a 3-3.
Versus 2. Oh, Nardu actually moved out from his watching spot. Nardu did catch a Rob, but Typic has now free access out of tunnel. We'll have to see how this leads out. Oh, I think that shot came from Typic, which must have given his position off, I think.
Very nice flash from Spec Ops, pushes Nardu back. Typic flies in from the backside, catches one. Tries to get Sayonara, they do, it's a double. In the meantime, Nardu finds the kill they're looking for, and they pop out the backside to get another one. Nardu putting it on their back that round and acing the team. 5-0. Nardu won the round for BossFight, plain and simple.
Yeah, five kills, plus 1 heals.
Be good. I don't think you can get a better. Yeah, I mean, maybe if you rest your whole team. Yeah.
Yeah.
5-0-5 would be the perfect round score, but yeah, not on 5-0-1. Still pretty dang good, and that's what I'm talking about with BossFight. You can never count them out. You know, I think Fortis again just got a little overconfident on their 3-1 lead. And 2 rounds later, we're looking 3-3 tie game. Fortis have to hold down the fort and defend. Fortis have to defend the fort. And BossFight are a start. I mean, they've been looking good all series, so I don't know. It's going to be a tough round coming up here for Fortis, and curious to see how BossFight play it because we've seen a couple of different strategies from them so far, Mensu.
Yeah. Surely, yeah. Speak of the last round, we just watched Typic actually crawled all the way through the tunnel.
Yeah, that is a multiple minute commitment that took quite a bit of time and did pay off in the end for a couple of kills. Not all of them though, and maybe if it had been a little bit earlier, it could have been what they needed. But that's the game of Onward. It's all about onward timing, as we say here on the desk. Back into the action we go, though, for round number 7. No, excuse me, 6, technically, because we had a cap. Round 6 of map 2. Will BossFight win the series here, or will Fortis take us to a map 3 decider? That's what we are going to decide.
Right, there goes an M2 smoke in there, blocking this gas pipe.
Radar nearly gets team fragged as they're pushing down the tunnel. Nardu finds Glue Sniffer in the center of the Diamond of Death, and they catch the side of Tipic. Nardu continues to barrel through the Fortis team, and finally they get shut down. Not before they catch 3, and it's up to Electric and Spec Ops, who at this point don't even seem to be aware that they've lost their entire team behind them. Electric does check it, calls it out. Spec Ops now aware, stands up. They still haven't turned around. And if the smoke dissipates, there may be an opportunity for a kill for Spec Ops. There it is. Legel goes down. 2v3 now as Spec Ops finds another, a quick double, a 1-2 out the gate. Electric fends things off, and Fortis are trying to take this to a map 3 decider. The final attacker, Radarhead, a key shooter for the team, but it's a trade that ends things off, and Fortis take it just barely with Spec Ops the lone survivor. And we're headed to a map 3 decider, Minsu.
Yep. To be honest, nice for both teams, I guess.
Yeah, a solid performance from both teams, absolutely. The ace coming through from Nardu, 8-1 in 2 rounds is pretty dang good. Coming in from Nardu, a very solid performance from both sides. And to your point, nice for both sides, I agree. Where do we go from here, though? Map 3 picked by BossFight. I imagine it's going to be Snow Peak is what I'm thinking. I mean, both Snow Peak and Abandon are pretty easy picks. So I imagine that's where we're going to go. No more close quarters. Well, I suppose if you go to Snow Peak, you have the option of close quarters. Abandon doesn't ever... Maybe there's... Well, I guess there's like one objective that plays pretty quick depending on spawn. I mean, can you think of... I feel like Abandon, you're guaranteed more long-range objectives. Snow Peak is pretty much half and half. And it looks like...
Yeah, it's Snow Peak.
Yeah, they're going to take the risk. They're going to go with just the fact that they have been winning Snow Peak this season. And we are headed there for our series decider. A big shout out to everyone tuning in here this afternoon. We have a nice little crowd of folks hopping in and hanging out. Crypto Snail, Sri Lankan, 24 again. Been hanging out all stream here this afternoon, watching their favorite EU teams duke it out. And yeah, appreciate you all tuning in and just maybe doing your best to enjoy the action. I know that everyone has their opinions, but we're here to enjoy Onward and enjoy watching the people that are pretty dang good at it. BossFight and Fortis, some of the best players in the EU region, battling it out right here this afternoon. You can learn a lot by watching these two teams play, and if you are new, it is a good series to tune into because you're getting all kinds of meta angles and strategies showcased to you that you can try and use in your own pub lobbies, and they will do very well there. For the most part, I suppose. It depends. Those pub lobbies are obviously very different, but I digress. It's a good series to tune into. Just waiting for the rest of BossFight to connect, and then we'll be jumping into our final map. I wonder again if we'll see any subs. I'm looking at Fortis's end, and it looks like we're sticking with the same 5. Makes sense considering they just won cargo. Glue, Spec Ops, Tipic, Electric, and A-Rob. All of them playing their darndest to take a win against BossFight. Doesn't look like there's going to be any subs, but we're waiting on that 5th, and then we'll know for sure. So far, Radarhead, Nardu, Scooby, and Little Sayonara coming in on the BossFight end of things. We have the 5th. We should be jumping in to round 1 shortly. Our first objective taking us to the North Hangar. So a long-range objective for BossFight to kick off with. And I mean, yeah, every time I think of BossFight on Snow Peak, they definitely do play this map very well. They are no strangers to it. They've got well-developed strategies, and the timing is really key because it takes time to advance into the proper positions to push an objective on Snow Peak, and BossFight are very good at executing on that timing.
It surely does. Since most part of this map is covered in snow, and that area, you can't quite rely on footsteps being heard around. I mean, frankly, you can't hear anything around you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe this is one of the more defensible objectives to start off with. You know, in terms, you have a, half of your back, 180 degree of a wall covering you, so you really just have to watch out in front. I'm just taking a look at the interview conducted by our resident interviewer, Sav's Cosplay, posted on the VRML website at vrml.com/onward if you want to take a look and get an insight into your favorite VRML team. We have answers coming in from, I believe, Radarhead, but from BossFight in general. They offer some interesting insights into how they operate as a team, in particular the fact that Radarhead is definitely the captain. I think my favorite answer here is, how does your team handle a loss in a game? And so right now, we're getting an insight into what BossFight are experiencing. The answer is, we have a debrief, and Radarhead usually shouts at everyone, but then gives a rousing, morale-boosting, or crushing speech. So that's what's happening right now in the BossFight team chat. Radarhead is crushing spirits or raising them, one or the other, but either way, it seems to work for BossFight in their time of need, and I guess we'll see if it works here on this map. We are still waiting for the 5th of BossFight to connect. Suppose that means we have some time to maybe look at a few more answers from the BossFight team. Another good insight into how they like to play, and obviously why we're here on Snow Peak. But does your team like to rush more or take their time? The answer coming in from BossFight is, we like to take our time. We like medium to large maps as they allow us to communicate, something we talked about earlier, and use our team tactics and strategies to the maximum. We like looking for picks and setting up for a large final attack. I mean, that is textbook BossFight in a nutshell, honestly, and it's what we're going to see here this afternoon. So we'll have to see if Fortis have checked out the most recent interview on VRML.com and have effectively prepared themselves for what is to come. Obviously, this is to say that even on close quarters maps, they don't play too poorly either. Almost taking cargo from Fortis 3-4. To be at this rank, you do have to be a well-rounded team, but everyone has their preferences, and I definitely do agree that BossFight do play well in the long-range situations. I do wonder if we're going into a technical timeout from BossFight at this point, because it has been a decent amount of time before we'd have this 5th connect. Maybe they're taking a timeout and using that time to charge, or Radarhead really just needs to get out the anger from losing that last one on cargo.
I hope that's not the case.
Either way, it will mean that we have a few more minutes before we get into our final map of the series. And so we'll cut to another quick break. Should be 2 to 3 minutes, maybe even shorter. And we'll be back into the action. Don't go anywhere. The series decider coming at you. Perfect timing yet again. Welcome back, everybody. We are here for the final map of the series. Round number 1, map 3, the series decider between BossFight and Fortis. If you're just tuning in, you've missed a pretty dang good back and forth so far. Some big aces, some good clutches, some solid defenses, a cap or two, and we're now on BossFight's preferred ground. Snow Peak, their map pick, and they get a pretty far spawn, so going to be a few minutes before we get back into it. And Glue is going to utilize this time to do a pretty big rotation. Rotate all the way around the north side and look for an angle on the back of BossFight as they rotate here. A pretty confident rotation, but one that they can only make because they were able to identify the spawn point of BossFight. They saw them crossing. They didn't take any shots, and so BossFight doesn't know that they know the spawn point. And Glue is able to work their way really far forward here to get aggressive on this BossFight offense.
Well, I'm not quite sure about that. I think we've got a drone up on this map by BossFight.
Tag the guy.
Oh, whoops, I was muted to the folks at home. They didn't hear me, but welcome back, everybody. Oh, no, sorry, I was just muted there for a second.
Multiple tunnels.
But yeah, we are, I mean, moments away from our first kill, I would say here. Radar nearly going down to Glue's line of sight, and Leggle also here able to push Glue if they want, but I guess for now, they're definitely throwing a wrench in this BossFight offense because they have to slow down and really get rid of Glue Sniffer. They can't push up without getting rid of Glue, without finding that kill. So either Radar Head has to do it or Leggle does, and to draw this attention away from the push could throw off the timing, especially as Sayonara opens things up with an early pick. Either that, or it could lead to Glue being way too far away from objective to defend from a cap. So if they're able to pick off the back of the defense, then Glue will be left alone too far away from the objective to defend it, and that's 2 points. We have a lot of gifted subs
I think that could be the case.
coming in right
For
now.
a short period of time, I thought BossFight would just rush in after that kill, but since they had a drone up, maybe I've noticed that they could only spot 3 to 4 defenders there. But come to think of it, that's not BossFight.
Yeah, we'll have to see what their push looks like. A quick shout out to all of the gifted subs coming in here. Crypto Snail gifting out, what is it now, 5 gifted subs. Gino Trades coming in with 5 gifted subs. Nardu gifting Special Ops some bullets as they push the objective. Like I said, it's an opportunity to crash and cap, and they're here. The tablet's out. No one's rotating back in time. Glue and Typic are too far away, and BossFight sneak behind Fortis's defense. I mean, you can't play it much better. That's exactly what they needed to do. They did it. And they got in the behind the 2 that were invested in defending the front and invested in fending off Radar Head. And by the time they recognize what's happening to their defense, they cannot crash back in time. Just a perfectly executed push from BossFight, and they go up 2-0 on their map.
Yep, BossFight surely has a heads up on their map pick. 2-0, starting with a cap. Well, we're still waiting on the next round to come up.
I had the wrong scores.
We'll have to wait and see. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh.
Go ahead, though. I updated them. We're all good.
Yeah. Yep. Well, as I was speaking, we'll have to see, but I'm quite curious where Fortis will get their spawn on round 2.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's going to be a quick spawn, it could lean into Fortis' favor if they spawn right where they have.
Oh!
In the...
Guess what? It's a quick spawn.
Yeah, if they spawn in the quick spawn where they are, it will mean that they can play this aggressively, and the aggressive push style has worked for them. It's what got them that win in Cargo. I mean, honestly, them pushing in for the cap, they got behind, just like we saw BossFight get behind them. They got through and behind BossFight's defense and capped on Cargo. And so now that they have this fast spawn, maybe it can play into their favor. BossFight are obviously going to be cautious of this, and as shots come out right away, it gives away the spawn. So now Scooby fires down from the top angle, just over the top of the fence, and they know that this push is coming in from this north side. Sayonara is also set up and waiting for an advancement onto their position as they tuck in behind the crates, and so they can peek out around onto Glue Sniffer's position potentially, and ooh, they might be able to spot the head. No, they can't quite see it over the top, so they're getting a little bit of a higher angle, and they are way out in the open. If they don't spot Glue soon, it could be bad. They do catch Glue there now, and BossFight have full control of this spawn now here, and Fortis are going to have to adjust as we see Arob and Electric rotating around the mountain instead of towards objective.
Well, if you check the north side, we can actually see Nardu holding his position towards the quick spawn where Typic chose to rotate, I think.
Hey, Rob finally shuts down Sayonara. And like you said, Nardu and Typic close to encountering each other here, just a few inches away. It could mean BossFight go up 4-1 in players here, but for now, Typic has gotten past Nardu, and Nardu doesn't seem to want to invest in pushing all the way around this mountain. So, still, not an easy push out for Typic here. Scooby has a perfect line down. I think they might just go underneath their vision by staying crouched. So, smart move there. Rob also looking for a line down towards Archer or Scooby, and I just realized that we did have a mid-round sub there from BossFight, as its Archer has come in on BossFight's end. Not mid-round, but mid-map. Can't bring someone in the middle of a round, but... Interesting, too, to bring someone in after the cap. Maybe it was just technical issues. Literally could be a matter of battery. I also don't necessarily recognize its Archer on the BossFight end of things, so...
Yeah, I know. You have a nade?
Interesting to see them here, but either way,
Yeah, please.
BossFight are looking good, so clearly good to have them here. Up 4-2, Rob and Typic kind of stuck.
Yeah, throw it. Amazing throw.
Yeah,
Oh my
quite-
gosh.
Yeah.
It's gonna be kind of hard to get, but
Do you see that? They're trading nades, and they just tossed it from the bunker all the way to Typic. who
Yeah,
now
I just
has-
saw it. Yo, Jesus.
That is crazy. Typic now has a nade that he can deploy onto the short corner so he can clear out that potential space so that he can advance forward.
Typic should be careful because currently Radar and Scooby both have an angle on that spot. Oh,
Echo 2,
It's Radar who got
headshot one
lucky.
I mean, they've got a really nice tight spot there. Hard to identify them too because their black helmet blends into the black boxes around them. And so it really makes it hard to spot out when you're looking for that pick. You have to be able to recognize that there should be a gap in between these boxes, and even then it's hard to spot because they have a black background behind them. So it's a very tactical position that Radar Head has taken here to make it very hard to see them. And it's why sometimes people consider things to be a Volk advantage. You can really blend in. Either way, Typic is just downed, and so maybe Rob can prone their way over and get the res, but then it's still going to only be like 30 seconds of time to push.
Yeah, by the... Oh, Rob is... No, he's back on his knees again.
Oh, and he's trying to res the wrong body.
Oh.
I thought you were the other groups. 1 minute, oh fuck.
They recognize the time. And as a flash comes behind them, Typic redirects their attention there. Nardu is pushing in, and as Typic drops their attention, and Nardu swings. Rob at least finds the refrag, but now it's a 1v3 with 40 seconds left.
Yeah, this will be a tough one. Oh, there goes in a smoke at exactly where Radar Head is hiding at.
There's an opportunity here if they can catch Scooby, but they can't, and Scooby finds the kill. Archer pops out to confirm it. It would have been tough, but possible either way. BossFight up 3-0, and they are a round away from taking the series.
Yeah.
I mean, an okay attempt from Fortis. I think they're suffering from exactly what we heard in the interview of what BossFight like to do, and it's finding those picks. You know, Fortis are getting picked off early in these rounds, and then it's very hard for them to come back, and that's what they have to do. They're trying to basically come back every time they have been playing BossFight here so far on Snow Peak. And so with an objective swap, maybe it will be what Fortis need to get back on the board here. I mean, this objective certainly is winnable on Marsoc, but it's not very easy.
Yeah.
If anything, it plays into the BossFight strategy more. You really do have to kind of... Yeah, I mean... It's going to be tough for Fortis, I think, because BossFight are really going to be able to surround this objective and crash into it like they like to. And so far, that strategy has worked against Fortis. Interestingly enough, I say Fortis is getting, you know, losing because they're getting picked. I feel like they won Cargo because they also got picks early. So, you know, it's like, if they can get the picks, then obviously that'd be great, but it's risky and so far not really working. So I don't know, what's the adjustment? We'll see. We'll see right now as we get into the round. Fortis defend, BossFight attack, and BossFight have a relatively quick spawn for this objective. They'll be able to be right on top of some early defensive rotations if Fortis isn't careful. Rob in particular seems to be moving. Typic also, and Glue going right at them so far.
Yep, there is a drone up again. I think BossFight does have an heads-up knowledge.
Yeah, I think I heard...
Is the drone still up?
I think I heard it buzz past Typic, so if anything, it should know both where Glue and Typic are here up against this wall. Nades and utility coming in, and Nardu is challenging the corner. They catch a kill. They're going to be swinging onto Typic next, so Typic has to be ready for this. And no, they weren't expecting to. Typic catches off Nardu off guard there, and now Radar potentially vulnerable, but Typic doesn't go all the way out, and BossFight are just slowly encroaching around Typic on this hill here.
Yeah, what do you know? Scooby-Doo was actually broadcasting live of the Fortis defender's location here from the sound, by the looks of it. Yeah, but since Scooby is moving now, I think that was maybe a battery out for drone, or was it?
Could have been shot down.
Was it just? Yeah.
Come.
So,
Yeah. And they knew Tipic was there. You could hear Sayonara saying "got him," so they, they were looking for that
Yeah, I'm
player
looking up at
there
myself to shit.
behind the hill. Either way, we're into a 3-3, and Fortis are looking pretty good here on their defensive round. They're still set up a round objective, and it's all up to how BossFight are going to approach this. And I mean, not to say that BossFight aren't pretty good at coordination still with 3 left alive, but that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to pinch in from the middle and the north and south of this objective. And they are set up for it. It's just a matter of executing it.
Okay, so we got little Sayonara approaching from south. Scooby-Doo, I think, is actually trying to break through the middle, I think, maybe?
Yeah, and then I think they're going to have Archer rotate in from the lake side, but Archer is lagging a little bit on the rotation. They need them to push out from their back spot and start pushing down that lake so that they can get in line with the rest of the offense. But yeah, that seems to be the plan. And they have plenty of time left to do this. 3 minutes on the clock. We can look at the overhead, and you can see Archer is starting to rotate up through the middle of the map there along the lake. And they are starting to line up with the rest of this offense. Smokes are coming out from Scooby up through the middle, either to maybe draw attention or not sure what, but they are also reconnecting here onto this far south, and they may be pushing Aerob here soon.
Yeah, I do believe that smoke was more of a distraction, I think.
Right.
And it does seem Electric is...
Short.
Oh yeah, well... Electric was looking at the smokes. Oh, it seems Scooby-Doo has
Yeah.
pinpointed where Aerob is. Yeah.
They know right where Rob is. Maybe Rob's been there the whole series.
Oh.
And they've been identified by the drone, but either way, they're able to pop out and find the kill. Now, what needs to happen is Scooby needs to get Rob down so that they can get the option of pushing up and rezzing Sayonara, because Sayonara is down and rezzable, and Rob can't confirm the kill. I think Scooby may even be able to crawl over there without Rob seeing and get the res, so...
Yeah, but in the meantime, check this out. Archer and... Yep.
Ooh.
Archer did...
-1 echo on the leg.
Archer came all around here and actually catches one defender out. And there goes in a smoke. Electric is rotating to that spot.
And the res has come in. Oh, and a team
this
kill.
doesn't look good for Fortis. Oh.
It didn't, but then the kills came in. A team kill somehow happened. I think he rezzed and then accidentally shot the gun and killed it. Oh, man. Chaos for the BossFight offense. But either way, Fortis and Electric with the final kill come out on top there and finally get a round on this final map. Well, that was a weird one.
It surely was. But anyway, I do believe Fortis is... Well, maybe it's too early to say they're back on the game, but we'll see through another round, I guess.
Yeah, I think... I mean, it was close. It could, like you said, it could be the start of something. They have to now attack the same objective, and, you know, I don't think this is an easy objective to win on the offensive side of things, so it's going to be a real test for Fortis here. They're going to have to channel their inner boss fight strategies a little bit, you know, and try and circle around the objective and push in on it as a team together. That in itself is pretty tough to do on a map like this because there's so many long-range angles that you have to watch out for. You know, there are close-range objectives, you know, 2 of the 3 that are left, are very close range objectives, and you actually don't have to worry about long range snipes or anything like that. But for this one, you do have to be cautious of that. And I mean, if anything, that is BossFight's forte. So gonna be tough on the attack, but we're going into it for round number 5 of map 3. Oh, false start. I lied. There we go.
Oh, well, it seems Fortis got the spawn inside a little far from where BossFight got their spawn on the previous round, but well, the spawning points are quite similar. We'll have to see how Fortis decides to push this out. Oh. And it seems they have splitted their teams into 2 and 3s. Electric and Special pushing inside the tunnel. I think they might be heading towards the lake side, to where bunker is, I think.
Yep. Yeah, they're probably going to come out of the middle there of the mountain and push straight up with the rest of their team. It'll essentially put them in line with both Typic, Rob, and Glue, who are already pushed up to the midpoint here. Yeah, it does mean a bit of a slower advancement, and considering Fortis has sort of preferred to play things quick so far this series, it could mean that BossFight are going to get a chance to set up effectively, and you do have positions like Radar Head, who's up on the stairs looking down into this offense pushing in. He may be able to find a couple of kills if they time out the peak just right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shots being fired, I think. Yeah, I think the electric has been spotted. No, I think actually Spag Ops is trying to circle his way all around from the north, I think.
Oh, yeah. It's a long rotation. And they're going to try and get all the way around the lake and get behind the defense here. Sayonara pops out to get rid of Typic, who's pushing up through the middle, but it is a resable Typic, and they are pushing up to get that res pretty soon. Yeah, and Sayonara can't get the confirm because the body goes down the back of the hill, so still 5 alive, and if anything, Sayonara's position given away, and they are in very much danger of being surrounded. They hear shots to their left, electric just over their shoulder on their right. Radar Head pops out of the stairs and catches Electric trying to flank and save Sayonara's life. They give away their position, but they're here and holding so far. Fortis down to 4.
Well, it seems Spec Ops has made his cross. Oh, Arab catches Sayonara. And Nardu is actually looking towards the Glue
Kilo 2.
Big and the Rob.
Radar's
Maybe
still here.
No, I don't think. Yeah.
On the tower, looking down through these smokes. Glue, Typic, and A-Rob all have to get rid of Radar if they want to push. Glue almost has an angle there on the right, and Radar really has to be careful about how far their knee and their body ends up peeking around these stairs, because Glue could easily find the line if they spot a toe, if they spot a kneecap, anything here. Radar really has to minimize their exposure, and Glue does finally find the side of Radar Head. They go down on the stairs, and BossFight are left with just 2. Fortis may take this round. They have the opportunity to crash in from multiple angles as Scooby and Archer are trying to hold in the front of the OBJ, and Spec Ops is still pushing in from the back.
Yeah. Oh, it's quickly down to 3-1. Oh, but I think Spec Ops is heading for a cap there. And I don't think Scooby-Doo is aware that someone actually got behind the lines. Scooby-Doo catches Typic. And Special Ops is almost at cap, but Scooby-Doo is returning. Smoke goes out, Special Ops capping.
They might get
Cavalis
the
is
point.
out.
They might get 2 points. They do.
Oh,
They
yeah.
get it just under the nose of Scooby, and Fortis have tied up the map 3 decider. We are going to a final round, a round 6 technically, that will decide who is going to be the winner of this series. No better way to finish off a series like this than one round to determine it at all. And it's not going to be a close quarters round, so Fortis maybe not necessarily getting what they wanted here, but either way, this objective is, I would say, maybe one of the harder to defend of the long-range objectives. You really have to understand where your defense is at all times, where your teammates are at all times, so that you never let a gap go unexposed or uncovered for too long.
Yeah.
It can be tough for Fortis, you know?
Yeah. The next to OBJ does give maybe some camouflage for the defenders, but because of this container or warehouse, whatever we call it, does also block the defender's side.
Yeah, it is also penetrable though, and so a good bit of LMG fire can do the job for you. We go into round 6 now though. 3-3 BossFight on the attack. They do not get a fast spawn. They'll have to work their way out. Oh, I guess maybe you would consider this one of the fast spawns out of the options, but either way, they have to work their way out of the tunnels and then push the objective. It's this spawn that you often see a lot of defenses prioritize defending up into the garage.
Okay, so it seems Naru and Little Sayonara are headed straight into where currently Glue Sniffer is headed to. Oh, I think we'll be seeing some gunfire sooner or later. Yep, shots being fired.
Traded. Res.
Nardu catches Glue Sniffer downs Nardu, and Little Sayonara quickly revives Nardu back. Oh yeah, but whilst Spag Ops is up in the tower, and this might be a little tricky one for Little Sayonara and Nardu to break out from.
Yeah. Often I've seen, I mean, depending on how good they are, I've seen nades go in the inside of this, you know, balcony that Special Ops is in, or this tower that Special Ops is in. So they are vulnerable to a very good nade toss, but interestingly enough, it looks like they got that one kill, and both Sayonara and Nardu have dropped back to the rest of their team, where it's archers shooting down towards the defense at objective, down towards Typic, and they may end up just pushing as a whole team from the north side. They may not even try and rotate. That might just be a point of distraction at this point, and they're going to try and overwhelm the remaining defense. I mean, it's really just Typic here who's holding this down right now.
Okay. Raiderhead, I think, has gone. Yeah, Raiderhead is currently next to the bunker.
Oh yeah, I thought they were going to continue their rotation around, but instead they're just kind of coming in behind their team. The call out, I think, did come for Radarhead to wrap around, but he's seeing the rest of his team push, and you know, if he wants to wrap, he doesn't have the time to wrap around because everyone here is pushing forward. So Radar is going to join the team here in the north, and they are all set up for this push. Spec Ops is almost now behind this offense.
Yeah, you know what? I think Scooby just launched a drone here.
Oh, really? Oh yeah, on the backside there, they have tablet out, and they are flying a drone trying to get info.
Yeah, and I'm quite sure by that grenade thrown towards a Rob's position has surely been compromised.
Meanwhile, Archer is slowly crawling their way forward. BossFight not rushing into this one. It is the final round of the series. This is to determine the winner of the afternoon. And Tipic is playing very patiently. I think he just indicated with a wave that there's someone here to Electric. But I don't know that Electric can really do much about it. And so it's going to be a matter of if. I don't think Tipic's going to be checking here to their left, though. And Archer should have the side of Tipic.
Archer is moving in. Yep. Archer catches Tipic.
And now the push. Smokes the crash on the other side as Nardu suppresses down. Rob peeks the short corner to find the kill. Spekoff still up in the tower, but hasn't needed to do much because the defense is holding things down on the corners for now. Rob's in a pretty good spot. Electric goes down on the front, and that's a bad player to lose. You're on objective defense. Rob may have to rotate, and they can't in time as Sayonara over the top catches the kill. Spec Ops alone now in a 1v3, jumps off of the tower and down into a position where, for now, they're safe in defending, holding, and waiting for this offense to push in. 1 minute and 10 left, so time is going to be an element here.
Yeah, but you gotta check Lil Sayonara pushing in from south. I'm not yeah, if Spec Ops fails to catch Little Sayonara, or fails to notice, well, it could end up as a cap here. Oh no, Little Sayonara, I think, is actually aiming for a... Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good...
There goes out a smoke.
Yeah, and this is smart because it forces Spec Ops to rotate out. It means that Radar can catch them on the rotation, and BossFight can take the final round 4-3. A good battle from Fortis, but ultimately not enough to take the final map. What a series to tune into here, Minsu.
Yeah. I'm really thankful. Oh, yeah. Actually allowed me to be your co-caster. This really was an amazing match here.
Yeah, happy to have you on the desk. Hopefully we'll see some more casts coming out of you in the future. And, you know, if you are new, make sure to hit that follow button. We had a bunch of gifted subs come in over the course of this from folks like Geno Trades and Crypto Snail. And again, we really appreciate the support and those subs. That goes back to the organization. It helps keep the lights on, the website. It also does support the casters from time to time, so we do appreciate that. It really does mean a lot for VRML and our operations, especially now as things get tight in the overall economy, but that's for another talking point. Anywho, a fun series to tune into. The final score line, ooh, the quick math, 12-8. Coming in here with BossFight, the victors. A great series to tune into. A shout out again to everyone that did stop by. And if you are new, hit that follow button. More VRML action will be live here and on our other channels, Onward_VRML 2 and 3, respectively. So make sure you follow all of it so you never miss any of our live games. But that'll be it for us here on the desk. My name is Ben NightFiree with 2 E's, my co-caster Minsu. We'll see you all next time.
Bye, guys. We'll see.